So moving on, the next speaker was born in Dounreay. He was educated locally, went off to university in Newcastle, has several business interests in the area, has been a director of the National Farmers Union of Scotland, and joined the board of the Scrabster Harbour Trust in 2012 and was elected chairman in 2013. So I'll ask Tom Pottinger to speak about Scrabster Harbour. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, local fan base. The checks in the post. Thank you for the opportunity of speaking this morning. My name is Tom Pottinger, and I'm the chair of Scrabster Harbour Trust. Scrabster Harbour is located on the north coast of Scotland and is situated 8 miles from the Dounreay nuclear site. Scrabster Harbour has been around for a long time, in fact since 1841. Here we have an extract from the Parliamentary Act that founded the harbour. The objective of providing utility and advantage remain relevant today. My presentation will look at recent development, the NDA's contribution to those works, and the outputs or utility and advantage arising from recent investment. Scrabster is a trust port. This slide summarises the key features of a trust port. The main feature is the safeguarding and stewardship of the asset that is the harbour, and if possible, developing the harbour for the benefit of the present and future stakeholders. To discharge this obligation requires a vision and a strategy. Today's case study started in 2008 when the trust put forward a port development blueprint. The blueprint was aimed at retaining existing business such as the ferry to the Orkneys and the fishing, plus growing activity in the energy sector, both marine renewables and oil and gas. The vision aimed to convert our strategic geographic advantage into a competitive advantage through increasing port capacity and providing the infrastructure and services that those markets required. The vision was and remains very closely aligned to that of the Caithness and North Sutherland Regeneration Partnership, aimed at a sustainable future beyond the decommissioning of Dounreay for the local area. The first stage of the development was centred on the redevelopment of the inner harbour area, particularly the old fish market pier. The pier was in poor condition and had limited access and limited functionality. On this slide behind us here, the old fish market pier is in the bottom left, running in that direction. I don't have a pointer, so follow my pen. Running that way. That's the old fish market pier, and as you'll see, I think on the next slide, you'll see the contrast with the new development. The works began in 2011 and were completed in 2013, with the official opening of the new Jubilee Quay in 2014. So the old fish market quay that I showed you in that last slide has now become this great big wide pier that the vessel is docked against. The development was a step change in the type of infrastructure available at Scrabster. The main feature of the project were over 200 metres of deep water berthing, deep water dredged approach channel, allowing access at all states of the tide, the creation of 11,500 square metres of laydown area, and a refurbished fish market, which is the building with the red doors that you can see to the rear of the vessel. That's the new fish market on that slide. And finally, the installation of pontoons for small commercial and leisure vessels, which again are on the right of the new pier. Whilst very challenging, the project was delivered successfully and significantly below budget. One of the most challenging aspects was funding. A multi-agency finance package totalling £11 million was assembled, comprising the NDA, Highlands and Islands Enterprise, Scottish Government, ERDF, which is European Regional Development Fund, and EFF, the European Fisheries Fund. The Trust invested £6.5 million, of its own funds and long-term borrowing. Oh, sorry about that. We'll go back. We'll come back to it. Don't know how that happened. Yeah. The role that NDA played was pivotal. The NDA provided initial support for the economic study that underpinned the business case, but crucially, the NDA was the first agency to commit funding to the project. That commitment was a catalyst for others to follow suit. The top photograph behind me there was taken when Chris Huhne, then Energy Minister, whilst on a visit to Dounreay in 2010, announced £2 million of NDA funding towards the Scrabster project. He was accompanied on that visit by Stephen Henwood, the NDA chair, and it was fitting that Mr. Henwood, was on one of his last engagements as chair in 2016, visited Scrabster to see the completed Jubilee Quay. He's shown in the lower photograph. I'm now going to show you the video, which mysteriously appeared behind me a second ago. I'll now show you a short video giving a bird's eye view of the completed project and the wider harbour area. It features an oil supply vessel, off and on landing equipment for BP's Western Shetland oil fields. Here we go. Thank you. The NDA have also supported other harbour projects, such as the acquisition in 2014 of the harbour workboat, the Highlanders, and most recently the installation of a new plate ice plant for the fishing fleet. You may ask, how does the investment relate to the utility and advantage mentioned in my first slide? This slide shows there has been a 62% increase in non-ferry vessel tonnage over the last 5 years. The Trust has achieved record revenues in the past 3 years, and the utilisation of the harbour has never been higher. As you can see, over that period, there's been a substantial increase in the vessel tonnage. However, there have been wider benefits to the local economy. This slide shows the results of a recently commissioned independent economic impact assessment. This assessment measures the contribution of Scrabster Harbour to the local and regional economy. The results are very encouraging, with substantial increase across all the metrics compared to the previous report in 2009. In particular, the number of jobs dependent on the existence of Scrabster has increased from 339 full-time equivalents in 2009 to 403 in 2016. Indeed, it could be argued that the public sector investment has already achieved payback as measured by the economic impact assessment. Further utility and advantage. I think that's a wonderful expression, a wonderful objective. This penultimate slide gives brief detail to our next development, the refurbishment of the existing St. Ola Pier. Initial estimates put the works at £15 million. Again, the aim will be to create multi-purpose, multi-user infrastructure. The business case will be based on the projected growth in oil and gas activity in the West of Shetland region and a continued growth and popularity of the cruise ship industry, and furthermore, an increase in general cargo. We believe that further development of Scrabster will bring utility and advantage to Caithness and Sutherland. Past experience and a track record in successful project delivery gives us confidence going forward. We look forward to working again with the NDA to advance this project. Finally, as an illustration of how the harbour is connected with the wider economy, I'll play you a final video that we commissioned to promote the harbour and Caithness to the cruise ship industry. Please enjoy the video, and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.